To hold along with my movie making career. And again, being an animator, you require like lots of patience, and you have to be stubborn about like what you really wanted to bring it out, right? And all those things are somewhat like getting applicable here in my current role as well, which I would say. So never.
Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into another episode of D Industry. In this episode, we have a very special guest joining with us. Hi Kapil, welcome to D Industry.
Hi, Ravi, and thank you for inviting me to this podcast. And hello, all who are listening to this podcast. Yeah, I'm from Kapil Sand. Yeah.
So that's really wonderful, Kapil. So if you could quickly give a brief about yourself to our audience out there.
Sure. So I myself, like I believe, like I'm a animator and turned to designer. So right now I am working as in Microsoft as a senior designer for UI UX. So I come from a background of animation film design, masters in animation film design from NID, which I got like around 10 years back, and that's soon after that I have been joined to UI UX industry, like say about like experience and product design industry. And it's been like around over a decade I have been like working on with them. Before that, I had the privilege to work as a chef for like around 3 years with Four Seasons Hotel Mumbai because I did a graduation in hotel management for my graduation. It was a BSc program, like I did it back in Trivandrum from IHMCT Kovalam. So after that, I received as a hotelier. Then I slowly shifted my career to animator, and then at the end, right now, I am a designer as a product designer over here. Yeah, that's so far in a nutshell.
That's wonderful, Kapil, and your journey is quite unique. So how did you go from being a chef at Four Seasons to joining NID for animation in masters in animation? What sparked that shift? If you could briefly tell me about your journey.
Sure. So, frankly, if I would say, like, I never know back in Kerala, it is like much more in a three-tier city, do that. Uh, my parents or like most of my mentors never had an idea about we can make a earning out of arts and design. So they were like very little bar on if anyone goes for a art college or like fine arts or anything. So people prefer the children to be like a doctor, engineer, or a high professional who is like actually which need to be a respectable person or something like that. It's a social dilemma which I feel. But being a dreamy boy, like from my childhood, I was much more keen into arts and crafts. I especially spend most of my times actually for drawing, painting, and doing small crafts or handicraft things, sculpting out any shapes from soap and chalk or anything, whichever I feel creative. So that was my childhood like. So when it came for the higher studies and the career path, I didn't had any clue, right? I mean, there weren't that much people to guide me as well. My parents were educated, and of course, they supported me as well as they can. But they also had never got that much idea about okay where we can pitch in. The main priority was like to get a job. So maybe like after my higher when I was into higher studies, the hotel field was like booming, and as being a Kerala, being a beautiful place, there were like much room for the tourism industry, and the jobs in those sectors were like very much blooming as well. So they thought like, okay, maybe we can put him into hotel management, where the job is secure and it's a well-paying job also in that time. Uh, so that happened, and I went for hotel management, and I did a master degree in that thing only, not master's, BSc in it. It was one of the best which I could go. That was IHMCT, that is also a national institute, and I got a entrance, and then I got through. and it was like 3.5 years course. But believe me, it was a tough time. And being a hotelier is also very much tough because you were supposed to do like a 18, 19 hour shift also. So it was much more a learning. Soon after the graduation, I got campus place in one of the opening hotel in Four Seasons in Mumbai. I was on the pre-opening team, so that also given me a lot of learnings over there. So I was specialist in Italian and pastry and bakery. And somehow I found like this is the best place where I fit in, because if you say about confectionaries and pastries, we used to have a French chef, Mateos, who was very much artistic actually about making the pastries. If you think about like France, they are the best actually. If you say cake, macarons, croissants, and all these things, he was like master of it. And somehow I also loved it because there were like some rooms for me to actually fit in and do my artistic skill over there also. Because carving out and decorating most of the pastries was again an art, which I believe right now also. So those experiences also helped me actually throughout my learning process, right? I mean, it's a process oriented job itself. It's a long hectic hours, but it was still fun. And but apparently I would say that one thing which I continued was I always kept my passion and my hobbies alive. So even though I was in a hotelier, I used to sketch a lot, draw a lot. I used to make caricature of most of the hoteliers and chefs and present it to them and all. So in some sort, they also resonated with me. And one time, one of my colleagues randomly asked, "Oh, why didn't you go for any arts? Right? Because you're good in it, and you might have done something related to this thing rather than being here." So, okay, anyway, I'm learning and it's good also. They were saying, no, it's better that actually, like, if you go for that thing, you should have much more scope on your career and all. Then I thought of it, and it was boiling in my mind. And then I researched for it, like, how can you and make a earning out of this thing, right? I mean, all this thing. That's the initial spark of, I would say, like taking it seriously and going for a career. Then I researched about it. Then there was this animation courses happening. If you are good in drawing, then you can actually fit in as an animator, caricature, or like artist or graphic designer. So that's how it came in mind, and there were like twists and turns in my life, and then I got up with some unfortunate events and got up with an accident, and I had to take a break actually from hotel. And that's on the free time when I was recovering. I went for a course actually in animation. That was a 6 months animation.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. So, after creating over 250 plus videos and engaging in countless conversations with creative leaders from around the world, I'm thrilled to share my book, Notes of Wisdom Lessons from 100 Creative Visionaries. So, this book is labor of love that has deeply resonated with the community, entering into Amazon's bestseller list and reaching the top 3 on hottest new release list. So, what makes me proudest is that many creative leaders have read this book and shared their remarkable perspectives on this book. The best thing about this book is its price. It's just priced around 500 rupees because this isn't about making profits, but it's about spreading a movement. So these pages contain transformative insights that can reshape you how you see the world through the lens of design. So find your copy on Amazon, available on worldwide, and on India we have Flipkart. So thank you so much for your support. Please share this book with someone whose life might be enriched by these creative insights. So together, let's champion the truth that design isn't just a profession or a skill, it's a beautiful way of living a life.
Course actually in 3D animation. So there it happened, and getting into that education system, then I got to know, okay, there are like many well-versed colleges out there where I can pursue a master's also actually on it. So somehow I got to know about, like, I mean, National Institute uh, in Ahmedabad. Then I went there, and being there, I visited that. Okay, the entire thing was actually inspiring. Then I was like checking for the criteria. How can I get into this college? What are the qualifications and what all the qualifications you require to pursue over there? Then I prepared for it, and there was as everyone knows that actually there was an entrance, which somehow I cracked. And frankly, like, I never went for any coaching or anything. The only passion drive driven me, and then I researched a lot actually on like how I can get over there. And apparently, I came from a hotel management background, but it was not a qualification actually for getting into NIT. So again, they if you doesn't have a BSc in arts, then at least you are supposed to have a 1 year experience in any of the design field or in any industry. So I went back and then I worked with an creative agency for like around 1.5 years to get that experience for this thing, for this qualification. Then again, meanwhile, I was preparing for the entrance, and then this happened, and I cracked the interview and admission for NID. So that's more of like how my transition
Mm.
turned from a hotelier to uh, as an artist, if I would say. It's not a
It's
designer
an
yet, but still.
Yeah, it's an interesting journey. And thank you so much, Kapil, for sharing that. So, how was your experience studying animation at NID? And we'll also love to see some of your work. I've seen it before also, but to the viewers. So, if you could briefly talk about your journey at NID, and then you can share your screen and show some coolest work that you did there in terms of stop motion animation. And
Sure, sure. If I would say when I went to NID, you always have two choices for applying for two courses over there, two domain over there. So I opted for graphic design and animation over there, and it was a tricky thing because I was interested in graphics, interested in animation also. So somehow I cracked both, and in the interview you have to choose on either one of them, and then they were asking, okay, which one would you go for? And I told them, okay, you are asking me like which of your hands are your favorite. It's like more like graphic design is my left hand and animation is my right hand. So they also given me a tricky question like, okay, so which hand do you use? So mostly. So I said, okay, right. So right goes for animation, and then I choose an animation because it was like much more closer to my heart, and I like love storytelling, and I always wanted my imaginations to be uh, moving, right, and animating and all things. I'm much more an animated person. Those who knows me, they know that I always visualize things on my mind, and I laugh on my own jokes, and like somewhat feels like I'm always in a hurry. So that's the one reason which I went for it. And if you ask me like what is about NID, I would say that okay, of course, it's one of the best actually in India for the art and design studies, if I would say. But I'm not actually like saying that okay, this is the best and this should be the best or something like that. I respect like most of the colleges and designers who are coming out from all the prestigious institutions out there. Yeah, it makes the environment and the people you interact with that matters a lot actually, because what I felt is like NID is much more like a platform where you are exposed to a lot of people who thinks differently, a lot of creative people, if I would say, because always there used to be a rush to get over there. And if you are surrounding yourself with creative people, you are getting to see and learn a lot of stuff what they are also doing over there, right? Everyone is singing different, and everyone is collaborating. Everyone is like asking or like talking each other about their ideas and how to bring it alive and all these things. This type of conversation, creative conversation, happens a lot actually on the thing. It's not about the place, if I would say. It's more about the people and the mentors who actually mentor you and the activities you do, right? I mean, if you are in another design college which doesn't need to be like that much very famous or anything, but if you are fitting among those creative people, then it makes you shape. So that's what I experienced a lot, because it's been a platform which you get a lot of exposure and good friendship and good collaboration from other designers. That made a big impact. I did animation, but I have like ended up in working on many other projects. Say about like film and video design. You will be doing storyboard, and you will be doing lighting and art direction for those filmmakers over there. So you're collaborating with them, and you will be learning a lot from them. You work for graphic designers, right? For their projects actually, to animating some of their text and or other projects. So that also happened. You work with textile design. You go with them for many trips for documentation of like the culture and the textile forms actually in villages, urban villages and remote places. So you travel along, you make travelogues, you get to know a lot of stories, and we have done it many times. And product design, and it is like endless counts of projects which we have done. So all those learnings actually is the best thing which I would say about NIT, being in NIT. So that's more about it. And on our course, we are supposed to actually finalize our project with a final diploma film. So that's how it happened, and I choose some stop motion animation for my final film. And being having a history of pastry, which I said, like because I used to carve and make lots of pastries, and I do carving a lot, and I feel like practicing vegetable carving also on my other times, and again, as I said, I do sculpting as well. So some sort it inspired me to take the medium, pick the medium of like stop motion animation. If people know about stop motion animation, it's a part of animation itself in which we what we does is like we make small puppets and each puppet with an armature. And we have to enact those puppet with like frame by frame moving one by one, and then we take photographs of all these things. So it's more like you are being in a god position where you can actually like control the huge environment and control the puppet and the character which you want to make enact, right? Then you edit it, then you put music on it, and of course there should be a story which plays a major part, right? So it's more like if I compare it with the current process which I'm right now doing, people say that okay, you come from an art background, you did animation, and what are you doing over in UI UX? So I believe like everything is a product, right? If you say about film, film is also a product, right? The end result is a product, a film which you release actually to the audience. So the end user will be the audience, whoever is like watching this. If it's an art movie, then you have to have a narrative part in which you think of the story, okay, what you want to tell to the people and what people have to take out from this thing. It can be a comedy, it can be a tragedy, or it can be a serious matter, it can be a documentary also. So you set the mindset like which what you want to present to the outer, right? And you thought of it, and you have to work off for it, similar to the product design thing which you do. If there is a ask from the audience or like the customer, you actually pick up that topic and then you come up with a good story and narrative part. You work on the storyboards, you work on the concept, you work on the style, maybe say about mood and the layout also. Then you go for the production, right? It's the same similar design process which you knows it. And at the end of the day, you shoot it. That is all the deep work which happens, which requires a lot of patience, right, throughout and everything. So that's one thing. And yeah, so my movie was like moreover like around a 7 minute movie, and it says about a person's uh, uh, I mean complex mentality in which he is trying to figure out a cure for his to my puppet world and puppet to pixel, which I say is like more about my storytelling process and how did the stop motion animation journey. So I had the privilege to work along with some of the major names based in Japan. So I have worked along with Takeshi Ishiro on some of their movies, and I had a luck to visit their studio and collaborate with them. When I visited Hiroshima Film Festival back in 2022. I had the opportunity to visit Tokyo University and showcase my work with Yuchito, and he's a major professor over there who takes care of the animation from there, and some of the techie art studios, and being with Koji Yamamura, who is a OG big figure in Japanese animation as well. So a little bit about the medium, about the stop motion as in nutshell, which I would say. As I said, like stop motion is the animation filmmaking technique in which objects and physical objects are puppets are like physically manipulated in small increments between individually photographs as frames. So then you stitch it, and then you does the animation part, and then you do the editing part and puts audio, and it plays along as a movie. So majority of you people might be aware of Alice and Gromit, and it's one of the famous film animation and claymation animation film which is out there made with this medium. Moving ahead, there have been like many kind of stop motions as well. They say about paper cut animation, there is pixelation, paper cut in which everything is like cut out in paper and then sequentially arranged and played like an animation over here. Then there are like photographs of actual imagery, like which people enact. And people go wild about these things, and they play around with the camera also and take it sequentially and arrange it as movie as well. So this is another medium, which is a subset of stop motion itself. There are many famous films, which these are like some of my favorites. If you people would love to go and explore it, it's out there, which is available. People have the misconception like, okay, stop motion or animation is just only for kids, but these films say some of the serious stories as well. So I would appreciate even the grown-ups also actually explore this medium and see some of the amazing movies out there on this medium. So let me talk about like my movie. So my movie's name was The Cure. The Cure. The story is about a man's journey to an unknown destination in search of a cure for his deformity. So and how he forced himself to fit with others and how he cope up with situations over there. So that's a major storyline of the film. And ultimately, the film says about the self-discovery of person and accepting themselves and enjoying the life as it is. So that is like the plot of the story. It's a 7-minute movie in which it was like completely made with stop motion, and there were like few of the experimental animation as well, which used on that. So it means like if people know that for a 1 minute there are like 60 seconds, for 60 or per minute per seconds there should be 24 frames. So think of it like actually for 1 second, then it is like 1,440 frames actually playing out there. And if you do the calculation, and it is like 7 minutes of movies have like around 5,88,000 frames. So 5,88,000 times you have to make it a night and click the photograph and cue it and stitch it to for a final film. So that is more about it.
I can hear the audio. Kapil,
So yeah.
wanted to understand like what made you move from animation to product design, and when did you decided that this was the path ahead for you?
So I would say like every career aspirant after post graduation, your first aim should be to get into a profession with getting a good job actually on a reputed company. So if you see about most of the design colleges, there will be this final uh, placement thing going on, like, and everyone will be aiming for the to getting into a better and bigger companies. Apparently, like animators had very less options because as it is like storytelling part, and most of the companies want designers which is aligned to other charters, like say about graphic design, who is like coming from a background of strategic design or digital design. They are like much more keen to hire them. Apparently, most of the animators find it tougher at those times because most of the companies doesn't want the skill set which we wanted at those times, and because everyone was like looking for a UI UX designer, and it was trending meanwhile in 2014 as well. So first of all, it was a bit disappointing while we got into the placement drive because most of the companies were not considering our portfolios as well. And we have to rethink, like get back and we take a time for like rethinking about it, how we can actually pitch ourselves and our skill set to those companies and how we can align our skill set with what they really wanted. So that comes to picture, and we revisited the entire portfolios or resume itself in 1 day, and we pitched in for the second day of the placement day. So what we did was like we made it somewhat sounds like okay, we can do motion design, we can be a motion designer, animator, and we can do interaction designs as well, like through motion. We can do prototyping videos and all these things. So most of our portfolio were like revisited and made it to cater their needs. In some sort, it helped. It was a quick thinking which we did that time, which helped a lot actually for me to get in over here. In 2014, I believe like it was like material design was like coming in picture by Google, and they have a separate motion design and fundamentals like which they brought in which most of the industrial designers were not aware of, and people doesn't know the etiquettes and animation principles, how to use them, the ease in, ease out, and the flow of motion, the anticipation, and all these things, in which they really required a skill set of an animator. So I would say that my first initial company was InfoEdge. It was in Naukri.com. Most of you will know. They were looking for a motion design, and I would say that if they hired me for precisely for that role, because they were planning to bring adapt it into material design and bring in those motion stuffs. So I got entered over there. So that's how the transition actually happened. Initially, I was also clueless, like how I can pitch in and how I can leverage my skill set actually to go up with these new digital media designs as well. But it was a learning as well for me. Then slowly adapted into that thing. It was much more like a reverse learning process, you know. Getting into over there, then there were these animations happening. Not much animation happening over there. There is like designs happening over there, and my initial task was to replicate most of the screens, if I would say. But then always being curious, like we ask the right kind of questions there. Right? So like why we are actually placing this visual element over here, why it is like need to be like this, and most of the time the seniors will actually come back with the answers like okay, there is a particular reason why it is kept over there, how we can actually leverage like some animation things to bring it up further more. So slowly, I like picked it up, and I would say that from animator, my transition was then to a visual designer, then UI designer, then going ahead and digging it further. Then I was learning like user experience, like what is actually like going behind it, and then strategy designer as well. Like my second profession was like in TCS as a strategic designer for UI UX, that is the product itself. And all those things actually like made me the transition over these years. I was learning bit by bit. One thing I would say that whichever career path I have like so far turned out, I would never blame my past, and I would always say that all those learnings actually contributed me so far, like who I am. Everything from maybe hotel management itself, the patience, your precisions, your long work hours, um, your skill set, your craft. Actually, you used the passion you used actually working over there actually got transferred to whole along with my movie making career. And again, being an animator, you require like lots of patience, and you have to be stubborn about like what you really wanted to bring it out, right? And all those things are somewhat like getting applicable here in my current role as well, which I would say. So never thought of actually whatever my efforts has gone vain. And I have this ideology like every time, even though if you are moving further a bit in a very low phase, also it is good. Never like go back, and I mean never step back or anything. Whatever is actually like coming up front, you go ahead and accept those challenges and go ahead. So one step ahead a time. So that's my ideology about life and the career thing, which I would say. Yeah.
That's really wonderful, Kapil. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and your wonderful work with us. So, if you have to share very quickly, like the three major lessons that you have learned in this long journey and also quite a unique journey, what would those three lessons to our audience?
Three lessons. Maybe I may be blunt, but so far, whatever I am coming in my head, I would say. I would say, like, I mean, always keep a positive attitude towards the future. And because I remember, like, when bad time hit me, I been like very much moody that to being a human, it is normal. But I would say that, but I have seen people have gone down and then never came back as well, right? I mean, you always need to be a fighter, and you think of it like how you can actually quick turn whatever the downfall it may be, like maybe believe in you and appraise yourself actually for the future, and you try your best and think good things will follow around. That is one major thing, because as I mentioned from my early career, there have been like very downfall where I met with an accident. And even I would say that frankly, I was that much emotionally down and all these things because I don't know like how to uh, shift careers and what it's going to be and all. But looking back, and it all helped, and see like where right now I am. I never thought of it. So future have your like surprises for you, and you just have to walk along, never stop running, and never settle. And that is one thing. And the second thing from the NID which I pursued was, as I already mentioned, right? Surround yourself with creative people and keep your eyes and ears open and always exposed to good energy and right set of mindset and people where you benefit a lot, right? I mean, that's one thing which resonate me with most of the people, which I believe like with you, Ravi, also when we met, and that's how this podcast is also happening, right? I mean, maybe it's helping me in some sort, and I am helping you in some sort. If it can help any other future generation in some sort, then that's the best part. So there is always a learning, and keep your mindset and heart always open for others. That is the second one, and third one, I would say, but that's like much more like personal and bit of what's say emotional as well. Always be happy, and I don't know, like this is like open ended. People ask me this question: what do you see yourself in 5 years? But the people who are like much calculated and which is having a very good plan may say something like, okay, I will be aspiring as a future leader and all these things. But for me, frankly, I never had any clue. If you look at my career and my life path, if I would say I started as a chef, and then I became an animator filmmaker. Right now, I'm UI UX product designer. Right, I mean, it never matches anywhere. But always I have this hope that okay, one step I will be always one step ahead of whatever I was in the past. That is only thing, and cherish the future and be. be good to everyone, be human to everyone, and good things will fall. That's more of it. And reach out to people and ask for help. Never be quiet. And it's more like a society in which you have to collaborate. So that's a good thing. Yeah. So that's more of it.
Nice. Those are some really great set of learnings. So before we conclude, I want to like hear from you. What would you suggest to somebody who is not, formally a designer, but who is very passionate about design, like how you were back when your chef days? Also, for somebody who is young who want to come and explore this field, what would your advice to them?
I would say that right now the world is heading, from my understanding, the world is like actually going in a very fast pace. There are like n number of things or new things out there which may interest you, and you want to get into that thing. There have been a huge boom which happened on mine also because I was too curious of getting into a job and I went into hotel management, right? Because that time I didn't do that much reference or background study or anything. I just jumped into that thing because I thought of, okay, this might help me actually to get my future. I never thought of my career maybe on some sort. My passion, maybe I abandoned it initially. Then slowly the realization comes, right? I mean, so ask, be original and like, I mean, be real and ask yourself what you really want to pursue. Because there may be external pressure from your faculty, your parents, from the society itself, I would say. Like, okay, they want you to be an engineer, maybe. I don't know, like, I'm not saying that you are not supposed to be an engineer or anything, nothing against that thing. But your heart will be pursuing something else, maybe art, drawing, painting, photography, dancer, animator, right? And all these things. So first you have to ask yourself like what you really wanted to be. What's where your real passion lies in, right? And believe me, like once if you are some sort of doing the same passion as your profession, you will never get bored of it. That's a one thing which I learned from my personal experience also. Otherwise, you will curse whatever career path you are taking out, and you are not feeling fun on doing fun on it. So you have to have that mindset, like okay, you have to have fun on your work as well. I know in the corporate there might be challenges and all these things. Sometimes you can't resonate or like relate with that thing, but still, I see that in some sort I do animation right now also, even though being a product designer, that's my job over there, and I some sort found energetic and fun over it. And another one is like, I mean, the educational institution, I already said, there may be trademarks in many of the institutions, say NID, IIT, IDC, and most of the well-versed colleges. I have mentored a lot of students, and some of them have the privilege to get into the institutes. Some of them never had. They have been trying like two, three times and they failed. But that's not the end of it. And believe me, and people have like again other choices, and there are like many institutes out there which are very precisely very good. As I said, it's not about the name, it's about the people who actually get in along with. And industry have some consideration on the elite colleges, but I have seen most of my buddies who works around me like better than mine in some sort. You have better skill set. That's precisely how they really wanted uh, to approach the job and how they bring up themselves, right? It's not just really a tag which you get from an institute and all this. Of course, it helps actually if you are from a premium tag, but that's not the end of the story. So never be stubborn of, okay, I wanted to get into an ID or IIT, and but I haven't got a chance. Then how my life is going to be, whether it is be going to be doomed or anything. Nothing. If you are skilled enough, if you can come up with better works and better portfolio, that's it. So ultimately, like there are like designers who are out there in industry also who looks for the skill set, not the tags, fancy tags which you get out there. So that is also there. And other thing is, which I realized from my personal experience is like building up your portfolio from the beginning time itself. Because out there right now, if you see everything is templatized. I know the AI era is now on. You just type a prompt and it will make amazing things for you. But that alarms a question which if I am a selector for a candidate, I will be a bit skeptical about okay the candidate skill set, like whether this is done in AI or whether you have done it, right? So there will be a doubt on it, that thing. So believe in your craft and try to build a portfolio from your early age, because then it will be a repository of the over the years, right? I mean, you say if you have design portfolio, keep posting stuff. As a designer and artist, we have always have this dilemma of lagging things. We think that okay, we can do better, and once we do better works or finish it up, then only I will post it on somewhere. Never be that and just post it over there. Over the years, you can see your progress. And of course, someone is like trying to recruit you. If they look into your portfolio, they will see your progress from over the years. That's the proof of concept or proof of development which you have done so far. If you delay it, it's going to be worse. At the time of doomsday, you will be preparing a portfolio. It's nowhere anywhere. So that will affect you a lot, actually. So I would say for those young aspirants who is actually doing graduation or post graduation in design, try making the portfolios and case studies and keep posting them and keep getting engaged with media, social medias, and new trends as well. Practice those things, whatever it may be, the small developments or small benefits. Also, you try to post it somewhere over there, which can be a big asset for your future portfolios. So that's more of it, and I believe like it will help, right? Yeah, that's it. Ravi, over to you. I
Yeah, thank you
completely.
so much, Kapil, for sharing all these wonderful insights with us today. And folks, I'll be attaching Kapil's LinkedIn in the description as well. So if you have any doubts or if you're interested in having a conversation, feel free to reach out to Kapil. And with that,
Yeah,
thank you so
yeah.
much,
So I
Kapil.
would say, like, I mean, feel free to reach out to me anytime, and I'll be happier than ever, like, to help you out, right? I mean, I've been like mentoring people, and I would love to be with people. I'm taking courses for students as well. It's always a good learning for me to be with younger generations and get to know them and get to their trend, and some sort. I'm also trying to mingle with them in in the trends as well. Yeah. Thanks,
Yeah,
Ravi, for the podcast, and thanks a lot actually for giving me a platform to showcase my work. And I really had like some fun conversation with you. Hope I never bored you people, and it will be a set. Right?
yeah. Thank you so much, Kapil, once again. And everybody who's watching this video, please reach out. We have many more videos like this in the channel. Please feel free to watch them and get inspired and reach out. The whole point of creating these videos is so that you get inspired and you can make new connections if you got connected by somebody's journey. So once again, thank you, Kapil.